Hello everyone, my name is Yogesh, and in today's lecture we'll learn how we can restrict our application to a single instance, and along with that how that single instance can accept runtime parameters using C#. There are four approaches which we can use to achieve this task. One is using webAPI, second is using memory mapped file or with common files, third is TCP communication, and fourth is named pipes. I prefer webAPI over all of these three methods, but in today's lecture we'll cover webAPI, and in next lecture I will be covering memory mapped file. TCP and named pipe I may cover, but I don't prefer this approach because these are a little bit complex, and also these are only suggested when you have to do like server client model architecture. But in our case my main motive is to have a single instance accepting runtime parameters. So let us see the example. Now before seeing the code, let us see what our example do. So I have created this you can say application, and I will be running it, and I will show you what I meant by passing the argument at runtime. So now I have created my application in such a way, like if I run the exe, it will open the UI. Also if I run this exe again and pass any you can say parameter like help or hello, so you see it is passing the same value to the current running instance of starting a new instance. We can pass total or any argument. So this is basically this is the end objective, and now I will explain you the code how to achieve this one. Let us understand the code now. Let me just close this application. First of all, you need to run this console and everything within the administrator. If you are running it on Windows, you can say 7 or 10, because otherwise your application won't be able to initialize the API. Okay, so everything should be run as administrator. Currently my project is not as administrator. I will just show you what are the prerequisites. After that I will start the application as an administrator. So here first I have installed a Nugget package, and that is this one, ASP.NET Web API self host. So you just need to do other core components, it will install by itself. Okay, so I will mention you the steps as well. Spelling mistake. Okay, so basically what it will do is, first you need to install this self-hosted API. Second step will be like you have to create the API in a separate thread running. So within the same application, one is your UI and second is web API thread. So we will be triggering request to the web API, and it will automatically do that, do its job and pass that value to the, you can say, your UI. Now the main thing is we have to share the main form object using static reference object within the application, that I will show you, and then we will make a modify call using begin invoke. That is required, otherwise it will give you like error where like you cannot modify or do pass data within like multiple threads. So now let me show you the example. Now this is as you know, in the C# application we have this code program.cs. Now what I am doing it here is, first of all I am checking okay, let me just break it down in simple steps. First I am checking whether my process is already running or not. So this check is helping me. Process.get process by name will help me to get you can say says the process by name, and when length is greater than 1, then it means the process is already running. Okay, so if it is already running, then it will execute this one. If it is not already running, if it is already running, it will execute this one. If it is not already running, it will run the application. And this code, what it is doing is, it is starting the API. So this is the configuration. If you are not familiar with web API, don't worry, you just need to copy paste it. So I will explain to you how you can integrate. And second thing is, if you remember, like by default our run is like application.run, it will be like new form. So this is usually our you can say a way of starting our application. But instead of this, what as I in the you can say instruction I have stored, like we need to share the main object. So first I will create a form object, and with the common library, this is a static object here. So I will give the reference of this form within this you can say static reference object, and then run my form. Other than that, and this is like starting of the API, so don't worry about this one. So main thing is like we need to have a static reference which this API can also access. That's the main thing. Okay, now let me just start my application as an administrator, otherwise I won't be able to do this task. Wait a second, it will take not much time. Now let me just start the application. Oh, sorry, again I have did without administrator. Wait a second. Visual Studio. So we'll start it through this one, single instance application. It will take few seconds. Okay, now our application is up as administrator. Okay, now I will explain you the flow. So in this window I have a method like that is add item method, and in this I am passing the argument, and with this begin invoke I am adding that item to the list. So you can do whatever task you want to do. You want to add a custom tab, new tab, or whatever into the control, so you can do. I am just using the list to add items, so it's totally depend upon you how you do it. So now in this method, as you can see, I am using this dot begin invoke method to add the item. If you are not doing this, it will give error, because cross thread call is not, you can say, advised and also not supported, so it will give you an error. So for that you need to do this, so that it can make this form itself trigger this event. Okay, kind of that in simple words. So now let us go to our controller class. So how you will create the controller is webAPI controller. Okay, first I will explain you, like these are the configuration. So in the configuration you will explain the controller, basically the URL will be like localhost colon your IP address, which you can say the port number on which you want to host your self-hosted web API. So this port number you can have a dynamic or anything, but for our example we have given a static one. And then is after this URL, what is the followed format? So first will be the controller name, second will be the action name. Action name is the method name, and the third is the argument what we are passing to the computer. So and this configuration is initialized. Then we are creating the object and opening the server. So it's simple only, so not that complex. Now this is our, you can say, controller class. The controller class, you have to right click, add new item, add the normal class. But the main thing about the controller class is, first of all, the name of the class will be followed by controller, otherwise it won't take your class as a controller class. Second, you need to implement this interface, okay, API controller. After that, I have declared one method add item, and I have specified HTTP get, because I don't want to make a post, you can say, example more complex, so it is just a normal HTTP get command, you can say get command. So URL, by this we can do the task. So in the URL, whatever the item is coming. Now in the configuration I have specified the parameter as item. So if you have changed the name here like ID or something else, it won't you can say put the value into this. So the parameter name should be exactly the same whatever you will pass to your controller. Okay, so now this method we are accepting, and then what I am doing is I am calling a method through this, you can say, shared reference object. Which method? Add item method. So what this add item method is doing, it is adding whatever the argument is coming to the list box. So it's very simple. Okay, so let me just show you the example first again. So if we are running our application, or even if we are passing any argument, doesn't matter. By default there is no instance, it will open the UI. Then second is we are passing hello. So now how this hello is transferring is here, where we are checking, like if the process is already there, make a get call. So get call, what it is doing is, we are not worried about the response, so whatever response it can have, what it will do is it will call this method, and then this method will add the, you can say, call this method, and this method will call, you can say, add the data to that list box. Okay, so this is how the flow goes. And we can make a call through URL also, so web browser also. So that's why web API is one of the best one. So if your application are like hosted on the local host, they can use, you can say, web browser, or you can say your web application also can do like A to B passed. We can pass my name Yogesh, and if I see my UI, it will have all of these accepted to it. So let me just have it on the parallel, and I will make it. So let me just change the parameter. Let me change it to Yogi, my nickname. So here you can see from browser also it is communicating with your application, because browser is able to hit your you can say the local API. You cannot do directly if you are using your web application. The reason is it will be a cross domain call, so you can figure it out the way how to do that one. But this is a simple way of making your application run as a single instance and accepting the parameter at runtime. Okay, I hope this example would have made you clear how you can implement this. If still you have any question, you can contact me through my email ID. So let us go through the steps what we covered. One was, first we install this NuGet package. Second is we created self-hosted API through the configuration, this one. And the main thing is, main crux is checking whether the process is already running or not. Then we initialize the share object where we want to pass the reference. So share object, we are passing it here. And then we are modifying the, you can say, UI using begin invoke. That is helping, like from our controller action method we are calling this one, and in this begin invoke we are adding this one. So basically item to the list. So this is the simple flow. If you have any question, you can contact me through my email ID, that is yogesh.mehla@gmail.com. You can contact me through my phone also and through Skype also. So here you can see I will be mentioning the, you can say, my contact detail within the description also. If you need this code, please mail it to me. I will share this code to you. Thank you. Bye bye.